Okay, so you can go to week 10 times and access the case study. The name of the case study is Roald van Beagle, The Sweet Sounds of Success. Okay, so this is from the IFAC, International Federation of Accountants, and this is a question from the CPA Australia exam. So we need to answer questions which are slightly more difficult as preparation for the final exam. Okay, so as you know, we only have 1 hour for tutorial, so get going. And then once you are done, just let me know. Then we can have a discussion. So we better get going. But you need to read the case study first. Okay. Page 59, page 60, 61, 62. So I'll give you time to go through the case study, and as you go through the case study, you should use your marker pen or highlighter and highlight the important issues that you identified.
Exam ah?
Oh my God. No, I'm recording lah. Recording ko. Don't lah, it's recording go.
Huh?
I'm recording. What's the button? Which was the button?
Music.
Little.
Later.
Yeah.
Shall
Mm. Okay, can quickly do your attendance. Okay, just share the code in the chat area. Okay, because I maybe might forget, so might as well you do it now. Quickly do it before the screen closes. So that we can just focus on our tutorial. Okay, it's 10:30 now. Okay, I really have to get going. So now I'll call upon Sheelan Low. Can you hear me, Sheelan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you turn your camera, please?
Okay.
Are you ready, Sheelan? See, you got a nice background picture there. So,
Sir, actually, your question is asking us to state out the issue, right? About the group.
no, wait, 1 minute, 1 minute. I'll go back and see the question again. Okay. The question is saying, okay, after reading the case study, discuss how a professional accountant in business, like Roald Van Wiegel, okay, he's a professional accountant. Remember last time in very early lecture, we talked about two categories. You can either work for yourself, self-employed, okay, whereby you have your own practice, and then you provide services. It could be tax services, consulting services, insolvency services, many services. Okay, that is you're working for yourself. That's one category. It could be in big four, it could be in second tier firm, it could be in partnership, one partnership. Sorry, partnership is more than one. Two partnerships, three partnerships, whatever, or it could be a sole owner. Okay, this is many different categories. Second category is PAIB. Go back to early days of our semester. We spoke about this PAIB. PAIB stands for Professional Accountant in Business, meaning that you're working for somebody. It could be in the capacity of a senior accountant, a general accountant, or senior manager, or finance director, CFO, whatever. You are working for someone and getting a salary and other perks. Okay. So now RORVV is a professional accountant in business, and he has been employed by Andre View. If you read the case study carefully, that's why I give you half an hour to read the case study. Andre Rieu is a concert pianist. He has been conducting concerts all over the world, very successful. It's not that he was struggling, Andre Rieu, no. If you just Google and check for YouTube, you can see so many videos about his concerts all over the world. It's not like he's struggling, no, not struggling. But now he's thinking that, oh, I'm at this stage now, I want to move to the next level. My business is at this level, how do I move to the next level? So this is where I need the advice of professionals. And that's why he decided to employ this Roald Van Wiegel. Now, if you read the case study carefully, you see the background of Roald van Beagle. He's highly qualified. He's a very highly qualified professional accountant. He has worked in many big companies before. He has turned around companies. So that's the reason why Andre Rieu, who is also a successful concert pianist, decided to employ him to bring his business to the next level. So the question is asking, okay, so how can a professional accountant in business like Roald van Beagle add value to the business? Meaning the business is already quite successful. It's not a matter that the business is struggling or going to close shop or, nothing of that sort. It's just that, okay, Andre Rieu is looking for new markets. If you read the case study carefully, he's trying to expand into new markets, to break into new markets. So this way he needs what you call the advice of professionals like Roald van Beagle. So basically the question is asking, what is it that RVV can bring into this business that is not already there? Okay, what is it that RVV can bring to Andre Rieu's business that is not already there? What is sort of he can add? What is the thing that he can do to bring them to the next level? So are you clear now, Sheelan?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So go ahead.
I think one of the value he can add into the Andre's group is because Andre decided to expand its business, right? The company, so that due to the professional of uh, Van Beagle, actually Van Beagle can use his experience and also his exceptional analysis skill to analysis which market actually Andre can get in with yeah, and also he can analysis through like which market is suitable for his business, because Andre Group is a company who focusing on concerts, doing concert. So I think Ben Legal can use his skills to help him to analysis which market is suitable for his business. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's it.
Uh, for now, I only can think that. So
Okay, fine.
yeah.
All right, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just ask anybody else before I discuss further about Liu Kuan Jet. You in class, Liu?
Yeah, sir. I'm
Can
in
you,
class.
can you hear me, Liu?
Uh, Kinda. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So another way they
Can
make.
you on your camera?
I can't because I say for the first time my mate is over. That's why you can hear some background sound. So
Okay,
it's
okay,
very
all right,
noisy.
okay. All right. Okay, go ahead. Shoot your points.
So
You
far,
can just audio lah, audio.
audio. Okay, yeah. Okay, can you? Okay. I don't know if like Shelen already said this point, but basically, how else he can add value is that basically this is gonna be a very new unorthodox role for him because he's gonna join as the or already join as the CFO of this uh, musical based focused company. So he has very broad amount of experience. Not he worked in a public listed company before. He audited from large organizations along with working as the finance director of the Swiss watches Swatch Group. So before this, he already joined through multiple industries. So that's why basically he can add value by sharing his endeavors in these multiple industries and apply it also here. That's how he's gonna add value by sharing his experience and also in multiple roles because he was the finance director in Swiss Watches, and since they say he audited for the public listed company, I believe he was an auditor in the public listed company if I'm not mistaken. Sir?
Okay. Any other points? Okay.
Not at
Fine.
the moment, sir. I'm still looking actually.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Go Yap Ying. Can you hear me? Go Yap Ying. Okay. Do you have something to say, Go? Or anything to say for the matter? How about Mirza? Mirza, are you in the class, Mirza?
Hi, sir. Yes.
Yes. Okay, Mirza.
Yes, I.
What share what you have read in that case study? What you have further?
Yeah. So for that case study, I've actually found his like form move when he moved to the company. So what I concluded is how PAIB can help someone like you is that first is because PAIB has a clear understanding of like MEs and also like how to manage growth. So like Van Weigel, like he has a clear understanding of MEs, how to manage growth, and also he saw potential in reduced company. Secondly is PAIB can help people like you to focus less on administrative issues. Same like how Van Weigel like become a manager, not just like CFO that he's supposed to do, but he is a manager of reuse company. So that's kind of like how they can
Okay.
help.
Right. Huh? So we're running short of time, so I think I'll quickly go through the case study. Okay, I'll just point out some of the issues that you should include in your answer. Okay, since in the interest of time, we have only got about 20 minutes. So I'll just go through some of the important issues that you need to highlight in your answer. Okay. So you all have access to the case study. Okay. So just I'll quickly run through. Okay. This is, as you see, this guy Van Wiegel. Okay. So he was headhunted. Okay. He was headhunted by Andre Rieu. Andre Rieu is a concert pianist. Okay. So his accounting and finance skills attracted Rieu's interest. So during their collaboration during the past 7 years has helped Rieu, who is a concert pianist, focus more energy on performing for audiences, leading highly talented musicians in his orchestra, and thinking of new ways to make classical music more accessible to his fast-growing worldwide audience. Okay, so basically, Andre Rieu wants to focus on his niche, which is music. Okay, so basically, he has a unique vision where he wants to take his orchestra and music, Van Weigel. Okay, so then what is the job of Van Weigel? Well, how he can add value? Question is asking is how he can add value. So you can see that sentence there in inverted commas. It's my role to inform him about the risks involved in executing his vision and to identify ways to manage this risk. So this is something that if I was having a marker pen, I would highlight this point. Okay, so inform him, meaning Andre Rieu, about the risks involved in executing his vision and identify ways to manage this risk. So this is one of the ways in which he can add value. Okay. Okay. Now, because he successfully fulfills his primary CFO responsibility. By the way, CFO stands for Chief Financial Officer. Okay. So his role has expanded beyond the traditional CFO in mid-sized enterprises. So in addition to serving as a trusted advisor to his CEO, Andre Rieu, and the business, he has taken on business executive duties by managing. This is the next point that you should highlight. We're using a marker pen, for example, by managing the fastest growing and largest source of revenue, which is concert touring. So by doing his analysis, he has found this is the largest source of revenue. So he needs to look at how I can get more revenue from this source, which is concert touring. Okay, so this is something that you should highlight and talk about. So these combined activities explain why Van Weigel possesses perhaps the most musical title among any professional accountant in business, PAIB, which is CFO. He's holding two. In other words, he's wearing two hats. He's a CFO, Chief Financial Officer, and also the Concert Tour Director. Okay, so this is something rather unique, okay? Because normally when you think about accountants, we have a stereotype. Okay, they're very dull people. They are, I mean, unfortunately, this is the stereotype. Okay, they just do number crunching. Okay, you want to talk about music and how can add value to somebody like Andre Rieu, who's a successful concert pianist. So this is something that is why we are highlighting this case study, because he's doing other things as well. Okay, so if you look at his background, very traditional background. He's a textbook PAIB, meaning he graduated from university in his home country, Netherlands, and get his CPA qualification. Then he joined PwC, which is the normal route which any professional accountant takes. Okay, you do your first degree, then you do your professional exam, then he joined one of the big four. Okay, but then he credits that he whatever he learned during auditing very large companies, including government-owned telco, from its transition to a public listed company. He was involved with that company when they went from being a medium-sized firm to a public listed company. During that phase, he was involved. So that involves a lot of work. So he has experience, he has background in that, as well as the largest pension fund in Netherlands, which is his home country. So all of this background is a preparation for his later work in bigger companies. So his next move was to a Swiss company. I think we all know about the Swatch company. It's one of the most famous watch companies in the world. So he joined them as their finance director. Okay, so it was a well-timed move, because during his when he joined, during his tenure, the Swatch Group became one of the largest watchmakers in the world. And during his 8 years with this group, he again accumulated a variety of PAIB experience, including, okay, these are things that you can highlight. Again, I would highlight this: financial reporting, post-acquisition integration, staffing management activities. So all of this helped to prepare him for his current role with Andre Rieu. But if you look at his background, very traditional background. Okay, he has a very traditional background, solid background. So when he joined Andre Rieu, this is the point that I was mentioning earlier, was already a thriving company. It's not a struggling company. Okay, facing the same challenges that most fast-growing, medium-sized companies encounter. Now, this Andre Rieu's talent, success, popularity helped him to sell more than 23 million CDs since his first big breakthrough album, From Holland with Love. Okay, so released in 1994. Now, his concerts currently rank as the 16th top gross act in the world. So he stages about 120 concerts a year. Divided by 12 is about 10 concerts a month. Okay, so with this growth in his business, he needs a new staff, new investment. So heavy touring schedule, because he is so bogged down with his core business, which is music. So he found that accounting and this is another point you need to highlight. As a result of all these things, accounting and other support processes were struggling to keep pace. So he hired Van Weigel. This is very important. However, accounting and other support processes were struggling to keep pace. So Van Weigel was hired to instill more sophisticated financial management capabilities and controls in the organization. So this is another value added on the part of Van Weigel. Okay, so accounting and other support services before this were struggling. So after he hired Van Weigel, so he said, okay, you take care of this aspect. Okay, I don't want to be bogged down with this. So you instill whatever you need to do, you do, because you're an accountant, you know what needs to be done. Okay, so he's telling that I joined this company because it's completely unique. You don't see anything like it in accounting textbook. So you can create your own job, expected and encouraged to look for potential needs throughout the company. So if you see a challenge, pick it up. So what was one of the challenges he faced? That was the greatest allure, meaning that was the greatest attraction to Van Weigel, was an issue that commonly confronts finance executives in fast-growing entities. That is, injecting greater finance and accounting discipline. Now, this is another value added here. So I say you need to read the case study carefully with your marker pen, highlighter, whatever, and highlight these points. Injecting greater finance and accounting discipline into managing growth. Injecting greater finance and accounting discipline to managing growth, but without stifling the founder's vision, creativity, and success. This is a very tricky part, okay? Because the founder, Andre Rieu, is doing very well. So whatever he does, he needs to keep in mind, you mustn't stifle the vision, creativity, and success of Andre Rieu. So establishing greater control, accountability begins with fact-based decision making. And you know, we are accountants. So when we want to make decisions, we need numbers. That's why some books, in some texts, they refer to as number crunchers. Okay, we are number crunchers. We don't deny it. We need numbers to make decisions. We don't just pluck things from the air. Okay, so many mid-sized companies become successful because founder has a great idea, takes off. Okay, then initially when you're just starting out, then a handful of people can help you with the details lah. Okay, at that stage of his expansion, probably you did not need a sophisticated, highly qualified professional like Van Weigel. But all of a sudden, now you have a company become a mid-sized company, and yet you have the same people doing the same accounting, and then they have a range of challenges that they did not anticipate when they joined the company. It's just like a football club. Like if you're at, for example, a Division 1 club, you want to go to the Premier League, the next level, you need to bring in a new coach with new ideas. Just you can imagine that is the same. There's the same philosophy here. Okay, so his first move came after he came a revamp. Okay, this is where he added value again. This one also you need to highlight when you're reading. He came to revamp organizations' financial information systems. So what exactly did he do? The bulk of the existing accounting department time and energy was devoted to accounts payable. What is accounts payable's main job? Process the invoice and make the payment. Cutting the check means make the payment. Process the invoice, then make the payment. So this is account payable in any organization. This is their basic role. So then he said, okay, we need to have a more sophisticated finance and accounting system that will equip the business with greater visibility into cost and revenue. This is where Van Weigel's ideas came in, because he is a professional accountant. You look at his background, okay, he worked in a Swatch company, he worked in PwC, and he was involved in mid-sized company going to listing, and he was involved with the pension fund. So he has a lot of experience. So he identified what are the revenue streams. The revenue stream is coming from three main sources: touring, concert, CD, and video specials, which they sell to TV station and release on DVD. Okay, so then he identified that the biggest source of revenue is coming from touring, from concerts. Then he did a more detailed understanding of what drove revenue and costs. So we were not really focusing on what a concert costs. Before this, they were not focusing on the costs. This is our core business. So what Van Weigel did is he changed the entire system. It says here, I changed the entire system so that it could follow what was truly happening and inform us where our costs were, how we could save money, and how much it would cost us to expand into new markets. All this came about after Van Weigel joined. Okay, after Van Weigel joined, he changed his whole system. So you can see what is really happening, and then have a clear picture where are our costs, where can we have some savings, and if we are thinking of expanding to new markets, so how much is it going to cost us? So all these details are in number crunching. He needs figures. So this is where Van Weigel comes in. Okay. Secondly, he beefed up the accounting department by hiring specialists. Remember, Holland has always been one of the powerhouses in soccer, in football. So he's using the example of a Dutch soccer coach, takes his best players along to a new club. So the coach, when he moves to another club, then he takes along his best players. So what did Van Weigel do? He identified some of his best accounting staff from his previous companies. He brought them into this group, Andre Rieu's group. Okay, these people, the people he brought in includes the payroll specialist, accounts payable specialist, controller. Okay, so this he rely on these people. So he can focus on other things. This is another thing he did to add value. He brought in his staff from his previous organizations who he has worked with before, who he has confidence in. He knows they can do the job. So he brought in people like payroll specialists. He brought in accounts payable specialists. He brought in a controller and so on and so forth. Okay. So this is the second. This paragraph you can find a lot of things where he added value. Okay. Then the third part in this paragraph. Okay. Open lines of communication. Okay. Communication is very important. But as a fast-growing company, the sales team can sell a ton of wonderful products. But if the finance team is not collecting the money, then you have a big problem, cash flow problem. Sell, but not collecting the money. So Van Weigel notes that communication is one of the most important aspects of a CFO's job. Okay, very important. People think it's not important, it's very important. So what he did, this is where he again add value. He strengthened relationships with important external sources, including auditors and tax authorities in the companies and localities where the company operates. So as you know, they are touring all over the world. So different countries, different jurisdictions have different tax regulations and so on and so forth. So he makes sure that we have a good relationship with auditors and tax authorities in the different countries. Now, this is not easy to do when an orchestra that is performing in so many different countries. So this is where Van Weigel came in, okay? So there are so many different regulations, so many different rules that affect us depending on which country we are operating in. So that is why it's important to let the tax authorities know that they have a good contact person within the organization. So he made sure he appointed somebody, or it's not mentioned in this case study in detail. He made sure he had a right contact person within the on review group. Okay, your job is to liaise with tax authorities in these different countries where we are operating. Yeah, I leave it to you. That's your job. So when tax authorities come to us, I'll tell them, okay, deal with this guy. He's in our group. He's expert in tax, so you deal with him. So again, this is where he add value. And fourthly, and perhaps most important, that matters. So focus more on strategic decision making. So in order to do that, Van Weigel has to establish credibility with Ryu and his new management colleagues. So some within the organization, Ryu's group, there were some people saying, "Wow, why we need this guy for? Why pay him so much? Why we need this fella? Why do we need to pay him so much? We don't have any issues so far. We've been paying all our bills on time." So as soon as you put in place systems, process, and people, so that you get more detailed information, then you show to the management the value of your information. So he did all his homework, and Weigel did his homework, and he showed you which countries and venues provided higher touring profits. So let's focus on these countries, because by touring in these countries, we are making more money. Okay, so some of the points you need to pick up. Okay, and then he also identified which are the costs which are pulling us down, so on and so forth. Okay, so these are some of the ways in which he added value. Okay, so I have about 4 minutes, so you can look at the last part here, the key lessons. So these are the key lessons. Okay, please go through the key lesson. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then elaborate on that. Okay, it's already summarized in here, but you need to elaborate on it. Okay, so it's a very interesting case study because we have a traditional accountant coming from a traditional accounting background. We team up with a concert pianist, and we expanded the business. Okay, so that is why the name of this case study is forgot the name already. Sweet Sounds of Success. Okay, because he's joined a musical company. Okay, so I think basically we are done with this. So like I said, if you go to the end of the case study, you have a few bullet points. Those are the points that you need to look at and to focus in your answer, elaborate it.